Have you ever watched the game?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Then you haven't watched it.
Duh.
You need to watch it.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to do a video all about makeup brushes. I posted a video on my Instagram story about a week, 2 weeks ago of all of my brushes laid out because I cleaned them, and I got a couple messages saying that they didn't know what any of the brushes did, or that I should do a video explaining, you know, what brushes I use for what I think are the best brushes and things like that. So that is what I'm going to do today. Yeah, so let's just get into it. Okay, so to start off, I've got all of these. These are all of my brushes, which is a little excessive. I know. Not like the normal everyday person definitely doesn't need all of these brushes like I have. I'm gonna mainly talk about the brushes that I feel like a beginner would need to, you know, start out in makeup, or even if you are already into makeup and you just want to know what brushes you think you could add on to improve. We'll start with face brushes because I'm not that crazy about face brushes. I'm not like that into face brushes. I'm really into my eye brushes. So as far as face brushes go, you're gonna need either a foundation brush or a foundation sponge, which I, for the most part, use a sponge. And for that, I just use a Real Technique sponge. You can obviously use a beauty blender, or if you know any other sponges that work good for you. It's just the Real Technique sponges are pretty cheap. I think they're like $5, or you can get like a 2 or 3 pack for like 10. You're gonna want either a foundation brush or a foundation sponge. I did just order the Smith 115 foundation brush, which is a little pricey, but I've seen a lot of good things about that brush, so I'm really excited for it to come in and see if I like doing my foundation better with that brush than I do with my sponge, because that's what I've been using for years. The Smith 115 brush is $28.50, and I'm gonna go ahead and warn you that the shipping on the Smith website is $10 for the standard shipping, and that's all they have. That's the only option they have. So altogether I paid $38.50 for that one brush. So it is a little pricey. I'm really hoping that it's going to be worth it. I've heard great things about it. But if you don't want to do anything that pricey, I have the Real Techniques Base Core Collection. It is $9.99 for 4 brushes. I use this one if I'm wanting to use a brush for my foundation. I use this one. This is it's called their Expert Face Brush. It also comes with this one, which I really like for either using a powder contour and getting that in, or even a cream contour. It's really good for that. They call this their contour brush. It comes with this one, which I like to use to get up in underneath if I'm using a brush for my concealer. This one is really good for that if you like to use a brush. And this one is the pointed foundation brush. And then I use this brush for all kinds of things. This is their detailer brush. I use that if I mess up on my lips. I'll go around my lips with it. If I mess up on my eyebrows, to clean up my eyebrows. I use this brush for a lot of things. It's really small and it's really easy to get in there and clean up lines with it. So that's the main thing that I use that brush for. They're $9.99 for 4 of them. That's a really great price. I have used all of these brushes multiple times. I've washed them multiple times and they don't shed. They're holding up really good. So that's a really great deal if you don't want to spend a lot of money on your brushes. Okay, moving on. Next, you'll want a really good powder brush. And for that, I just have this big fluffy one. It doesn't really have a name. I really want to invest more into my brushes, which is why I just got that Smith one. Just because I feel like brushes are really the base of your makeup. You know, if you have a really good brush, your makeup's gonna come out pretty good. It doesn't really matter what kind of makeup you use as long as your brush is good. But this is the brush that I'm currently using for foundation. It's a no name. I honestly probably got it at like Burke's or TJ Maxx, if I'm guessing, because that's usually where I get a lot of these brushes from. It was cheap, it's fluffy, it's actually really soft, and this one as well doesn't shed. So you don't really have to spend a lot of money on brushes for them to work. But I was researching to see if I could find any like brush sets that are affordable that come with multiple different brushes to help out. And Morphe has a brush set that is $27 and it comes with 5 brushes. It's called the Complexion Goals brush set. It comes with 5 face brushes. And for $27, I feel like that's a really good deal. Morphe has great brushes. I know some people like to say that they shed a lot and things like that, but I have a lot of their eye brushes and I've never had any problems out of them. For the price of the brushes, they're great. But I think that would be a really good set for someone who's wanting to start out and not wanting to spend a lot of money on their brushes. But as far as powder brushes go, this is the brush that I use for that. And then we're gonna move on and we're gonna do contour brushes. And for that, I've talked about this one a couple times. I think I got this one at Burke's. It's falling apart. That's gonna have to be my next purchase, is a good contour brush. It's the one that I've just been using for years. And I think it was like $3 at Burke's. So once again, you don't have to spend a lot of money for your brushes to work. For blush, for a blush brush, I really like this Ulta Cheek brush. Whenever I was looking it up, I couldn't find the exact brush. They had a blush brush on there, and at the time that I was looking it up, it was on sale for $7, and it's originally $16. But I got this whenever I got this bag that I talked about. It came in the bag, so I don't know exactly if they even sell this one separately, but it's a really good cheek brush. It's really good and fluffy, and it disperses the blush really good. Another brush that I feel like is essential for the face is a good highlighting brush. And for that, I have been using the Morphe M510 highlighting brush, and that is $9 for this brush right here. It does a really good job just hugging that cheekbone and putting that product on there. I know that Anastasia also has a highlight brush, which I've heard is really good. I've just never tried it, and it's a bit more expensive. I think it's probably $18 to $20. And this one's only $9, and it's a Morphe, and Morphe has great brushes. I've watched this one a couple of times. This one's a little bit newer, and so far so good. It's not fraying, it's, you know, staying put. Another staple brush that I feel like everyone needs is a good stipple brush. I have a couple of these here. I've got this one from Real Techniques, which is just their stippling brush, and I've got this one from Crown Brushes. Both of these are really good brushes. Stipple brushes are really good for blending in your product, or if you want to apply like a blush or something a little bit lighter, stipple brushes are great for that. It won't disperse all of the product all at once. Oh, bronzer brush. Another brush that isn't very expensive. This one's just the Color City. They have really nice quality brushes. This is very soft. It's big and fluffy. I like to use a big fluffy brush for my bronzer just to bronze up the face. So I'm not sure on the prices of these, but City Color has really great affordable brushes. Now we're gonna move on to eye brushes, which are my main focus. I'm gonna start this out by saying a collection of eye brushes that you could get if you're just starting out brush wise, because eye brushes, there's all kinds of different kinds. But this set right here, this is the Jaclyn Hill Eye Master Morphe brush set. It comes with 8 brushes in it, and it has just about every brush that you would need to do an eye look if you're not wanting to individually buy brushes. This entire set is $39, which is really good, and also from Morphe, and Morphe is a really good brand. But this is the brush set that I got Kayla for Christmas because she was asking me to get her some eye brushes, and I feel like this one has just about every brush that you would need in it. But I'm also going to share with you a couple of my favorite eye brushes that I don't think that I could live without or do looks without. And the first one for that is the MAC 217. I've had this one for a while now. This one's probably like 2 years old. Very old, very loved, very used. This is a great brush. It's a little bit more pricey because it is MAC. This one's $24. It is one of my favorite brushes for blending. Just the shape of it, where it's kind of tapered and then it fluffs out. It's really great for getting in that crease and putting down your transition color and blending that out. And it's also great for putting color on the tip and packing that onto your inner corner. That's one of my favorite brushes. The next one is one that I just recently got from Morphe. This is the Morphe M562. It is a very tiny blending brush. This one is for more detailed blending. This is when you want to go in and you want to add a dark color and you don't want that dark color to end up all over your lid. You put the color on there and you blend it out very, very carefully, and where it's so tiny, it's really good for that. This brush is $5, and honestly, if you are into doing more detailed eye looks, I feel like this one is a staple for your collection. It's really good for just keeping that color where you want it and blending it out. Alright, next we have another Morphe blending brush. This one is called the Detail Blender. This is the M514. This one is $7. This one is really great for just getting right into that crease and blending out that color. Okay, if you look at the difference in these brushes, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show these up close, if it'll focus. As you can see, the MAC one is more tapered, and this one is a lot more fluffy. This one is really good for going in without any product. Okay, I'm gonna go in and just show you a couple more of the Morphe brushes that I have here that I really like to use for blending. Okay, and the next brush that I have here is a Morphe M200. I think this was one of the very first Morphe brushes that I had ever purchased. This one is called their Deluxe Crease Brush, and it is $6. This one is, once again, really good for just getting into that crease and blending out color. As you can tell, I have multiple blending brushes because blending is very important. And then this one is also one of my favorite brushes. This is also, I think this is one that I ordered the same exact time that I ordered the last brush. This is the Morphe M139, and this one was actually $4. This one is really great for packing on the color on the outer corner and very lightly blending. This one's really great for that. It does really good packing on that color and blending it out and keeping it where you need it to stay. Okay, we've talked a lot about blending brushes, so I think I'm going to go in and show a couple of my favorite like lid brushes. This one is an Ulta eyeshadow brush. I couldn't find it. It came with one of the like Ulta gift sets, so I don't know the price of it, but this is the brush that I use to pack on shimmer shades on my lid or cut my crease. I really like this for cutting my crease. It gives me a nice sharp line. This is a really good brush for that. You don't have to get this brush. Any flat shader brush like this will work. I've got this brush that is very flat. This is a LAKEY 221. It is $12 for the full brush. I got this one in a BoxyCharm. It came in a set with all of these other LAKEY brushes, which are also some of my favorites. This was the set. It just came with these 4 brushes, but this one is probably my favorite because I don't have a brush like this one. This one's really good for packing on color right up next to that lower lash line. All of these LAKEY brushes are $12. This one specifically is also one of my favorites. I think you've seen me use this one before. It's the 227. This one's really good for getting outer corner shadow packed on there and blended out. A nice eyebrow brush is the Anastasia eyebrow brush. This is the smaller one. The numbers are completely rubbed off of it because it is very used. I don't use it as much anymore because I don't really use pomades or powder for my eyebrows, which is what you really use these for. But I used to use it all the time because I used the Anastasia Dip Brow, but that's a little bit too harsh for me, so now I just use a pencil. The full size of this is $18, and I know that's a little pricey for a brush, but honestly, the Anastasia brow brushes are the only ones that I found that are this thin at the end that you can create those hair-like strokes in your brows. I definitely recommend it even for the price. These are very good. I use this brush quite a bit. This is an Ulta brush. It also came in a gift set, so I couldn't find it online. They just call it their crease brush, but once again, it's just kind of really good for getting in there and packing on the color and blending it out. But other than that, I think that is pretty much it. I hope I went into detail enough to kind of help you understand what the brushes are for, what the uses are, what brushes you would need to just start out. I really hope that you learned something. I hope that this has helped you. I hope that you go out and get some of these brushes and it helps improve your makeup game. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!